Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. For today's video I thought I would go through my blush collection. I've been having a little sort out of my vanity, and when I pulled all my blushes out I realised how many I actually have. Probably way too many. Definitely don't need to purchase another blush for a while, but thought it was enough to kind of do a dedicated video showing you which ones I have and which ones I would recommend. I did do a declutter a good while ago now, but looking at the blushes I have here, I do like a lot of them. There aren't many that I do want to get rid of, but I think what I'm probably going to do is over the next few months incorporate them into my everyday makeup drawer to give them a full test. There's ones here that I haven't even touched that I definitely need to know whether I do actually like them or whether I should pass them on to friends, etc. Show you what I've got, give you details, give you my review, and also do some swatches of the blushes that I've got, because most of them are probably very similar in shade to each other, so it'll be quite handy for me to have this to go back to when it comes to shade comparisons. We'll start off with the ones that I have used and that I can give you my opinion on, shade wise, formula wise, etc. The first one is this e.l.f. Primer Infused blush, and this one is in the shade Always Cheeky. This is a really nice formula of blushes. I think out of the shades that they had, this was the peachy version. They do have a pink one, which I think may be called Always Rosy. This does show darker in the pan in person than it does on camera. It shows really light on camera. The swatch is probably a true representation of it. It is buildable. It is quite subtle, and then it can build up to a nice colour. It is a matte blush. It is long lasting, like it does say with the primer infused aspect of it. But for the price of these, I think they're probably £5 or £6 maybe. I would recommend these as a really good drugstore blush. I know I'm probably going to end up saying brush a million times instead of blush, so this is going to be fun to edit. Then we have a blush from the brand 17. This is a discontinued brand, I believe now, which was available at Boots. And this brand has been around since I was young, and this was the kind of teenage version of number 7. So this is what I used to pick up when I was younger. When they had a huge sale a while ago, I picked up one of the blushes because I did have one of these when I was younger, and I remember quite liking them. This is in the shade China Pink. I think the cheek of it is the line of them. So this is a quite nice muted pink. It looks brighter in the pan than it actually is on a swatch, but it applies really easy. It is another one that is completely blendable, but it is a really nice formula, and I do think it's a shame that they discontinued these. I haven't used this as much as I should do because it is a really nice pink. Then we have this from the Balm. This is the Frat Boy blush, and this is one I've been reaching for an awful lot recently. It's been in my everyday makeup drawer for the past few months, and I just can't seem to take it out because I'm loving using it. This is probably one of my most favourite buildable blush formulas, in that if you put hardly any touch to it, you can just get the nicest flush of colour to your cheeks, and if you go heavy handed it can come out quite pigmented, which is good. So as you can see, next to the 17 one, it is more of a muted pink. This is kind of more baby pink-ish. This one is slightly more muted, but it is a really nice blush. It is decently long lasting as well. I would say it's not quite as long lasting as the e.l.f. one, but as you can see from the shades, this is more of a subtle blush. The formula on this is slightly drier than those previous two I've just swatched. Again, this is a good reminder for me as to what the actual formula is like in direct comparison to the other ones. So for how they felt, this is slightly drier, but I still really do like this blush and will continue to use this, so I definitely know I'm getting enough worth out of this one. We then have my massive collection of Tarte blushes. I say massive collection, I have 5. 5 is more than enough for anyone to have. This one I'll go over is the shade Harmony, because this is one that has definitely been tried and tested, has been in my everyday makeup drawer for I think the majority of the time I've been doing it, so maybe 6 months. And this is similar actually now looking at it to the Balm one, but the Balm one I can get a lot darker with that by building it, and I do actually have both of these in my everyday makeup drawer at the exact same time, so maybe that's why I like the Balm one, because it is just a kind of darker version of this one. But that is only a couple of swatches and it stays that pigmented for a good amount of time. These are really long lasting. As you can see, they have a great array of shades. This is probably one of my favourites, and I am really enjoying using this every single day, but it's nice to see how similar it actually is to the Balm. so I probably don't need both of them, which means when this does run out, if it's still a shade that's even available, I don't need to purchase another one of Harmy because I have a similarity there in the Balm one. But yeah, really recommend this formula. This one is in the shade Exposed, which I think actually, yeah. So these are both the same shade. This is one that I got in some sort of gift set. Actually, I think I got both of these in a gift set, but this was one that had larger products in. So I won't obviously do a swatch of both, but just to compare pan sizes. This one obviously comes with a mirror. These don't. That doesn't bother me. I don't ever use the mirror in a blush palette anyway. But for the amount of time that the other mini has lasted me, I definitely wouldn't need to run out and purchase full sizes of these. I do prefer the minis of these because it is great to be able to try a greater array of shades, whereas I think these were about £25 each. Most of these you can tend to get in a set with other things, maybe like 3 things altogether for about £14. So definitely, if you want to try this formula, I would say look out for one in some sort of Tarte gift set around the holiday season. They do have ones over summer as well, but they do have a better array of them over the holiday period. But definitely love the formula, and this is such a nice shade as well. I'll just put this one to one side and I'll swatch this one. So this one is more muted again than this one. This one does take up quite a bit of building. This is more of a brownie pink, I would say. It does have slight mauvey undertones to it. But this is one that I don't think can be built up as much. I think this one does kind of hit that level of colour pigmentation, and that's about it. So I don't mind this for an everyday blush, but definitely not when I'd reach for a sort of night time. I do want more pigmentation on my cheeks, but for an everyday one it's fine. And to be honest, that's when I reach for blush more. I do wear blush every single day, and it's these kind of shades that I reach for, so I don't mind that I do have a small and a big one of this, because this is obviously ideal for travel. Plus I love that they click shut, so there's no doubt that it's going to come flying open. Then we have the shade Ornate, and this is probably the brightest Tarte one that I have in these minis. So this one is more red toned pink with possible slight kind of coral undertones, but as you can see it's probably the brightest one I have out of all of them that I've swatched so far. But a really nice colour. I don't need a lot of this at all to get that bright of a colour payoff, and I do have to go quite light-handed with this one because I don't like my blush to be overly powerful, but it's a really nice shade, and especially in summer it does look really nice. And the last mini of these I have is in the shade Insightful. This is one I haven't even used yet. I will do a swatch of it even though I've not used it yet. And that's the first time I've actually used this one. I haven't swatched it. I don't tend to like to even swatch them until I'm using them, because I can then keep track of which ones I'm up to, especially with these ones. But that one is a more brownie toned pink. It does look slightly browner on camera than it does in person, but as you can see, sort of pigment level wise, these 4 here are all the Tarte ones. So apart from this one, they have a sort of equal level of pigmentation, and it was only a few swatches to get that level of colour, but really love this formula and would highly recommend it. I completely forgot that my next set of blushes is also Tarte. I have this really sparkle clutch bag, which contains all of these shades. This was, I think, the holiday collection from last year, but I did get this in the sale earlier on in the year. But it's magnetised as well, which is helpful. Really cute clutch bag, which I haven't had a chance to use yet, but hopefully will use because it is really pretty. So this came with a bronzer, a highlighter, and then 3 blush shades. I don't have any of these blush shades, name-wise anyway, but let's see how many I actually have comparable in other ones. As far as I'm aware, this is going to be the same formula as in the circular pans. I'll swatch this shade Flamingo first, which is the lightest one here. So that one is a more baby pink type colour, and probably the lightest pink that I have there. But really nice colour. It only takes a couple of swipes to build it up to that level of colour, but it does look like it is a buildable one. Then we have the shade Passport, which looks like a more brownie pink. So that one's really nice as well. That one I don't think is actually comparable really to any of my other ones. One is quite subtle compared to the others, but really nice shade nonetheless. And then finally we have the shade Pool Float, which looks really, really bright. So let's see how this one swatches. So that was 1 or 2 swatches. It does look brighter on my arm in person than it does on the camera. That is quite a nice colour. It's probably a lighter version of this one. So I think I actually quite prefer that one to this one, but really nice shade. Excited to actually give these a go, but I do want to try and finish up a couple of the minis before I crack into these ones. So I'm trying to keep these as sealed and this as long as I can. I'm slowly running out of room on my arm. Next blush we have is this one from Flower Beauty. This is in the shade Sweet Pea. And this is a recent purchase. I've not even swatched this at all. I've only ever seen this one online, but looks like a really nice muted pink colour. Feels like a nice soft formula. So that one did take a little bit of building up, but is a really nice shade. Quite similar to this one, I would say, but slightly more, but can build up that little bit more, whereas that one kind of grinds to a halt after a while. But really nice shade, and is the kind of muted pink that I tend to go for. So keen to see what the actual formula's like to wear. And then the final set of blushes we have were contained in this Benefit the Blush Bunch. This was what I got for Christmas off my husband, but other than having this one in my everyday makeup drawer, I haven't even tried any of the other ones. Obviously I do already have one of these open, so I know what this one's like, plus these two are bronzers anyway. I just wanted to show the set as a whole, but for this video I'm just going to talk about these four here. So these are the four I'm going to talk about. I will start with Gold Rush because this is one I've actually used. It says it is a warm golden nectar blush. I was using this as a highlighter because it is quite shimmery, but it is a really nice shade. I'm actually going to swatch this here next to the e.l.f. one because this is a peachy one and I do want to do a direct comparison. Okay, so they are very similar in shade. This one is, I don't know how to put it on the camera, is a shimmery version of that basically. But tone-wise, I would say they are very similar. It leads me to believe that I could actually get away with decluttering this one, but I do want to give it another fair shot. My only issue I have with all of the ones in this collection is they are scented, which I'd never appreciated. As I said, I do have another one of these, which I don't remember came scented, but every single one of these, including that and this one, have all got a scent to them. So when you open up the packaging, it can be quite overpowering. I'm not overly keen on the scent of this one. I can't put my finger on individually what the scents of any of them are, but if you are sensitive to smells, it's just something to be aware of. But I think, I can't remember what my husband paid for these, but for a bundle, and each of these pans to me is pretty long lasting, it is a good deal and especially a good way to try all of the Benefit formulas. The next one here is Rocketeur, and this is a dark peachy shade maybe. I've kind of run out of room on my arm to swatch. So I might put this one here. So I haven't even swatched this one. It feels nice and soft to the touch. And that is quite similar to the Gold Rush one, just obviously not as shimmery. It is a kind of golden glow, I would say. It's a nice shade. Don't think, let me see, comparable wise, maybe somewhere between these two here. But I don't think I have anything that's completely that colour. Intrigued as to how it's going to look on the cheeks, because there it does look pink toned, but on my swatch it doesn't look pink at all. So keen to see what that one looks like on the cheeks when I eventually get around to using it. So we have Dandelion, which I think is probably a cult classic. Quite a lot of people used this back in the day and raved highly about it. This one says it's a baby pink brightening face powder, so it doesn't actually even say it's a blush. And yes, it does look quite baby pink. Another one which is quite soft to the touch. I'm just going to go up my hand now. So these Cult Benefit ones are looking quite similar because that's not too far apart from that one, but it's just possibly got a slight pink undertone to it. It is slightly shimmery, which isn't my preference. I do prefer a matte blush, as you can see from the majority of the rest of my arm. But it might be quite nice in the sort of spring and summer months. I just do need to get around to using it eventually. And then the final one is California, which I think is another one that's kind of a cult classic. This one says it's a sunny golden pink blush. And this one is very bright. So yeah, that is a rather bright coral shade. So let's see, in comparison, slightly more orange toned than that one. And probably more orange toned than that one. So it might be too bright for me. I think I've got a fair mix of shades there. So that is all the blushes there swatched on my arm. And I think I've got them all laid out behind it in order of how they were swatched. We'll see that one and them three on there. They're moving along to... But there's not too many comparables, not as many as I thought anyway. But apart from maybe these Benefit ones towards the end, like these three here, to me are quite similar. Kind of just one shade apart, if that makes sense. Obviously this one is brighter and different, but and it has similar ones, just maybe more pinky toned. But I think there are definitely some there that could be decluttered because this is too many blushes. So I will probably get around to doing that eventually. I just want to throw some of these into an everyday makeup drawer to give them a fair use before I definitely decide that they need to go. But quite enjoyed doing this video. It was nice to be able to sit down and look at my blush collection and also have this for future reference of swatches as it comes to actually making the decision whether to get rid or trying to remember if I do have one that's comparable to another I can just reference this video. I hope you enjoyed something maybe a little different, and if you like this video please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not already. Thanks.